What was the vibe like? The emotion? Could you feel it last night?
Lots of times, I think, Darren, we talk about emotion and what you hear and see and feel, and some of it doesn't quite match, or a lot of it doesn't quite match what you think it might. Last night was amazing. You could just see from the moment he stepped on the ice, you got a big cheer right in warm up. He gets a big cheer when he's the last guy off the ice in warm up. He gets an assist 30, 40 seconds into the game. He was fantastic. The video, he was sitting right beside me, and it was pretty cool. The Panthers guy started to move away from him on the bench, so he was kind of sitting more by himself. And it wasn't 15 seconds into that video, and I said to my producer, I go, get a close up on him. He's starting to cry. Like, you could see, like, the tears. He was close enough. I could see them starting to well up. And it's so impossibly rare that a player could have a connection to a city like he does here, and to a team, to play a decade and a half. But to be like as an emotional player as he has been. And then I think there's a second act to his career where he became the elder statesman and the respected leader. And when he became the captain here, he just, I don't know, he embraced it all. He lost a little bit of, over time. I mean, as you get older, you just can't be the same way you were when you were in your early 20s. Although we did see a little glimpse of that fire in Buffalo when he ripped apart Dahlin's head. Oh, yeah. I thought that was great. I loved that. It was amazing. But the night itself was outstanding. It was just the way it should have been. The only capper would have been when they were up 3-2 if he would have scored an empty netter.
Right.
And, he had 2 assists, and the way the game ended, that if people haven't seen it, the shot hits a goalpost and goes 15 feet to the side of the net and hits Andrew Peake's foot and goes all the way back directly into the net. Like you couldn't even believe it. What a great break and a bad break, depending on who you're cheering for.
What do you think Don Sweeney's thinking?
You mean about Marchand?
Yeah.
I think it's a really interesting thing. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't feel great that, that whatever their value they're going to get out of that trade is not today. It's going to be years down the road. I guess you're happy that he won the Stanley Cup, but they had the opportunity to sign him during the year. The difference was, as Boston has said, is they wanted the Marchand group wanted a longer deal than they were prepared to give. So loyalty in sports is, I don't know. I got a different view of it. I think as I've gotten older, is that if you're a team, there are times you're going to have to make a decision you just don't like. Mm-hmm. Florida can make that deal with Marchand, understand that he's probably not going to play the last couple of years of the deal. He's 37, right? The deal's for 6 years. He's not playing when he's 42, is he? I mean, could Boston make that same trade given the state of their franchise, or do they have to try to start recouping assets? Because for the previous decade, literally from 2010, they won the Cup in 11, they traded most of their first rounders in some way, shape, or form, either immediately at the draft or just a little bit past it, as they tried to stay in that Stanley Cup cycle. Then eventually, as we see with every team, and it'll happen unbelievably to Vegas at some time too, is that you're going to have to take a step back. You need to find better, younger players, and the only place you're finding them is the draft. Because if I've got a really good center, John, and you want him, or I got a really good young defenseman and you want him, well, good luck. I'm not giving him to you. And that's where Don Sweeney is right now. They're stuck here in Boston. I mean, they played really hard last night. The third period was terrific for them. But if Pasternak's not involved in just about everything, who's possibly going to score for them? And tough to win that way.
Do you think Brad's decision to accept a departure from Boston influences other people?
You think he accepted it? You think he accepted it?
Well,
I mean, I don't know if he had some no trade protection. Did he not?
Yeah. Like
So at some level he accepts it, but
he would only go there.
I look at him and Raymond Bourque the same way. Like Raymond Bourque won a Stanley Cup in Colorado. Do you think of him as a Colorado Avalanche? No, I think of him as a Boston Bruin.
Well, look what they're doing with Chara in the new year, right?
Yeah, it should be. Like these guys the Bruins have been blessed with just these iconic players that have been in their city and with their team for the better part of decades. Like that just doesn't happen. Like who wouldn't want Patrice Bergeron at some point as their president of the team? Like, or as some influential member of their staff. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's done something wrong in his life, but I can't even possibly think what it would have been. And so there's
were all those guys around there last night, Ray?
They all went for dinner the night before. And
okay.
what I liked is they made Marchand pay, which was
well, he's still getting paid.
Right. These guys are, they're scraping nickels together. These other guys, Chara and Rask and Bergeron. So, Marchand had to pay. Marchand's going to come back to Boston. It's going to be his home. Bergeron's living here. Like they love it here and they're connected here. And pretty soon your front office is going to be the best alumni team in the league. And
I just look at Sid.
Yeah.
I just look at Sid. He's done everything. And he's watching this going, I could go somewhere else and still come back and be a great Penguin. I don't see how the fire that burns in Sid, which is evident from watching him play at his age, how that can be satisfied in a rebuild. Right.
I just don't see it. And no matter where he goes, and I do think at some point he will go. Like I don't have any information. That's just my gut feel. It just doesn't feel like why would you stay in that when you have a chance? You're not going to another team that's maybe going to make the playoffs. You're going to a team that you're going to direct and is going to be a really good team. He'll be a Pittsburgh Penguin forever. Like how could he be anything else? Even if he wins the cup somewhere else, he's a Pittsburgh Penguin.
Just like Brad. It's a great example.
I just think he I don't know him very well. I just think he lives his life by a certain code that says, you know what, Mario never left. I'm not leaving too. I'm going to be a Penguin for life. And I think there's something to be said for the influence of 66 on 87.
But Mario was in a different position. He had to stay. He was in an ownership situation.
Yeah, I would say in today's game, like Sid and McKinnon seem they just have a different way about them. Mm-hmm. But Sid is like this elder statesman now. Like when I really care about what's going on, I want to listen to Sid in an honest moment. Like when he gives one of those interviews, I'm like, he's just put together different you called it, like the code that he lives with, and that great commercial they talk about. And he said, what drives you still? And he's like, winning. I don't know anything else. Mm-hmm. I'm like, my brother-in-law coached Sid in Pittsburgh, Tony Granato, and he said, Sid would text at 11 o'clock at night and say, did you see that power play goal that so-and-so scored for this team? Like, what about if we looked at this, this, and this? Like, he's always engaged and connected. And, his dedication to being the best he could be, he'd miss a one-timer. And Tony would be getting ready, going through some meetings the next day at practice or before practice, and he'd hear the puck hitting the boards. And he'd go out and it would be Sid and the skills coach, and they'd recreated that play. And Sid was because he missed the shot in the game. And Sid wanted to correct that blade angle or hip position or whatever it was. Like, who does that? Who does that? Like year after year after year, that churn that Sid has to me is
is his. I think it's his most admirable quality. I so admire the way he goes about his business.